We're going to talk about a good amount of things.
Wait, we're going into it? That's the intro? We gotta do that again, dude.
We could just grab a moment later on and make a cold open out of
No,
it.
but, like, it can't start like this. It's fucking chaos.
Well, how would you start it?
Just start with your shtick.
Give me a new shtick. Give me tips.
I don't have any fucking tips. You're the one that does the shtick. Do the shtick.
We've seen things that no one has seen before.
We've seen things out there.
We've seen things that most people could never understand.
And we've seen things too.
You don't know, man. You weren't there.
You'd be surprised the likes of which we have seen. Don't be so quick to say everything's the likes of which we haven't seen. We've seen things the likes of which you probably haven't seen yourself.
Is that a challenge?
Spoiler alert for the film The Lighthouse.
How are you all doing today? My name's Matt. I have my friend here, Zach. Zach, say hello.
Hi, that's the shtick. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I feel like we could do so much better.
No, it's good. We got it. We're going.
For anyone who's listening to this for the first time, we have a film race called the Breakneck Film Race, a fun place where everyone can practice making movies within the span of a week. To promote that, we made a podcast called We've Seen Things, where we talk about movies that inspire us, and preferably someone has to have seen it the first time too, just to make the conversation a little spicy, you know. We just had our 6th Breakneck Film Race, right?
Coming hot off the heels of the number 6.
If anyone's listening to this who was not aware there was another Breakneck, I want to personally apologize to them if they actually want to do one. November is just a wild month. It could be delegated better. So with that, I apologize. We shouldn't stress over having fun.
So is Breakneck fun, or I don't know?
What are we talking about today? This is your pick.
We're talking about the movie The Lighthouse by Robert Eggers. Before The Witch, you hadn't seen any of his films, correct?
Before I saw The Witch, I saw the first 15 minutes of The Lighthouse.
Oh.
I turned it off for a good reason. Back during the pandemic, I didn't use a TV but a projector. And obviously the benefit is your wall becomes a TV, but the downside is if you don't have enough heavy curtains to block out daylight,
you gotta watch it
you're
at
not
night.
watching anything. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
So it's one of those movies where it's like I may have started it 5 minutes in while I was trying to go to sleep on the couch, and then I passed out, and then I was like, oh, I'll just pick it up the next morning, such as the movie I'm thinking about ending things. So once you start watching these literally dark films,
Sure.
it becomes impossible during the day, and then it just kind of fell off my to-do list after that.
Interesting. But you haven't seen The Northman,
I've not.
and I'm seeing Nosferatu on Christmas Day, and I'm so fucking stoked.
I learned yesterday, a few days ago, that we got access to a screening of Nosferatu on the 13th. But we can't make it for scheduling reasons. But I was going to see it before the recording, and just so that you would know that I've already seen it. And I'm not going to be able to see that screening.
Thank God. Because you don't deserve it, Matt. You don't fucking deserve to see that before me.
And
I'm a fucking diehard Robert Eggers fan.
Oh, and dude, Robert Eggers might be there. I have to check and see who's part of the interview.
Okay, fuck you. You have to go.
No, I can't go. So I'll explain off camera, but it's not in the cards this time.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I'm seeing it on Christmas, and I'm very excited. I'm going with my dad and Alex, my girlfriend, and Max, my roommate, and then Keelan, our other friend. It's a fucking whole gaggle of us. I think Craig Skrzynecki is going to be there, who's worked on a couple of my films, who I'm going to be making a film with maybe in the next couple months.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see it. We're making a new tradition where we go to the movie. It's like our Chinese restaurant holiday tradition.
Yeah.
Only it's just go to a theater, but also
because you guys are both so Jewish. Anyway, I got some movie news.
We've seen things that no one has seen before. You can't take that away from us.
28 Years Later trailer dropped.
I don't want to hear anything about it. I want to go into a cold.
Yeah, I wish I didn't see it, because it seems like there's a massive spoiler in it, which really bummed me out. But the trailer was fucking amazing.
Well, that's comforting.
So, in all these new trailers, they're always using like a fucking old song revamped, you know? They used like a guy reading a poem from World War I or something. And it's like some famous guy in the the 10s or the 15s.
It's just more of a marketing thing.
And it's so good, and it's edited so well, and it looks amazing. And then I'm thinking halfway through watching this trailer, I'm like, this was shot on a fucking iPhone.
Yeah.
If you remember one of the earlier films we covered, I forget which one, during the movie news, I talked about it was released that 28 years later was shot on an iPhone. And it looks fucking amazing. And Alex Garland came back to write it, and Danny Boyle's directing it. And it's just, I think it's going to be fucking awesome. Again, there might have been a massive spoiler in the trailer, which really kind of bummed me out, but other than that, the trailer is so good and the movie looks fucking awesome.
I'm so glad to hear it. When's the release date?
I think maybe July. I think July, yeah. There's 2 new Evil Dead movies being made.
2?
Yep. But apparently the first one is just being named Evil Dead Burn. With the same, so they're making 2 of them with the same director, Sebastian Vanicek. Vanicek. This is from Deadline. The project is described as an original story that Jalupy developed and brought to Raimi and his team. No word on plot or who will be producing. It's in the early days. So they made Evil Dead Rise, which I honestly didn't love. Did we cover Evil Dead Rise?
We actually did on the non-existent season. Yeah, in season 0.
Okay. So I didn't love Evil Dead Rise, to be honest. It was okay, but it didn't feel like an Evil Dead movie. You know, when I think of Evil Dead, I think of Evil Dead 2. I think of Army of Darkness. I like that insane campiness, you know. Anyways, so apparently the new formula is to come to Sam Raimi, and he picks new young directors to give a shot. You have your shot in the Evil Dead universe.
Would you prefer that or a Ridley Scott scenario?
Well, I think it's a direct Gladiator 4.
Yeah, he's just around, keep telling a story that just does not warrant sequels.
Blew everyone's ass off, you know what I mean? So, in a good way, I mean. Chris Evans coming back to the MCU.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I'm didn't they just remake Captain America? What the fuck? They made one movie with the new Captain America, and now Chris Evans is coming back. But they don't say who he's going to play, but it's going to be a little weird that everyone's going to be the same characters from other movies, and Chris Evans is going to be a different character, and they're not going to recognize him. They're not going to be hey, man, you sure look like Roger. What the fuck's that guy's name? Captain America's name?
Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers. You really look like our friend Steve, but I guess you're not him. And he's no, I'm a different guy, different contract, different. Yeah, I'm getting paid more now, actually.
I mean, that's exactly what's happening with RDJ.
Yeah, but I figured they're gonna fuck his face up with makeup, and he's playing Doomsday.
Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom.
So he already has a mask on by default.
He has a mask. He has a mask. I think you give a new actor a shot, maybe someone that's a marginalized person or something. But they tried that once, and then that guy ended up beating his girlfriend, and they had to kick him out of the whole thing. So maybe they were we gotta go back to someone we know that hasn't beat their wife.
I think that is one piece of the equation. They should have just taken a couple years hiatus during the pandemic, honestly. I get that there is this opportunity to market on people who can't leave their homes, so just give them content to watch and it'll be a return on investment.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it's showing that is not a sustainable strategy.
No, it is. It's a tragedy. It's a sustainable tragedy.
That's a good name for a crony corruption postmodern capitalist podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean because it's true. That's what's happening to half the fucking studios or whatever in fucking Hollywood.
Yeah.
Golden Globes announced their films for Best Picture, but the year's not even over yet. So
okay, well, it'd be like that.
And half the movies I haven't even seen.
I don't know. I just don't take them seriously anymore at this point. It's cool to be, if I was invited to it, sure, I'd love it. But
if my film gets nominated, of course I respect them, but if not, fuck them, you know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying it's just an award show that's in a TV and you look at it and you react to it and you're like, oh, I can't believe this film won. I can't believe this one got snubbed.
Yeah.
It inspired me at one point in my life, those award shows, but now I'm like, what is it doing for me now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's still fun to watch every once in a while.
Is that all the news, or are we going into the Lighthouse now?
I seen you sparring with a gull. Best leave him be.
Why is it bad luck to kill a gull?
In them's the souls of sailors. What met their maker. Bad luck to kill a seabird.
The Lighthouse! The only medicine is drink. That's my favorite line in the movie. So it's Robert Eggers' second movie, his sophomore project. Directed by Robert Eggers, written by Robert Eggers and his brother Max Eggers. The director of photography is Jaron Blaschke, Blasschke. So, I don't know. Editor, Louise Ford. Composer, Mark Corvin. And I think all of those people work together very well to make, I believe it's loosely based on a true story of two Lighthouse attendees on a similar island, both named Thomas, going crazy and one killing the other because they were stuck on the island for like 7 months.
Gotcha.
And this definitely takes place in, I mean, yeah, it's like it takes place in the 1840s, I believe. Doesn't it say the year it takes place?
1890s. That's what Wikipedia says.
Okay, so 1890, so turn of the 20th century. I think Robert Eggers might be the best director at transforming his films or like bringing the audience into that time period without question. Because everything about that movie feels like it's 1887, whatever the fuck, on that island with them. Like we were talking about Shogun, conveniently these characters speak a dialect of English to each other that we can understand. That's not the case for Robert Eggers.
I respect the shit out of that.
Yeah, me too. And again, how he was like with The Witch, where he took like letters and like kind of took a lot of the dialogue out of letters. I think he took a lot of the dialogue out of like working notes. So he took some of their exact dialogue or some of their exact, words they used or this or that. So again, that's I think one of the ways that he puts us directly in there in like the shoes of someone in that time or in that era.
And he does a great job with it. Knowing going into it that it's best to have subtitles on. And maybe that will be my reservation when I come out of Nosferatu, because I won't have unless I see a closed caption screen.
Yeah,
I guess that's always possible.
But Nosferatu was like what, like the 20s or 30s?
Yeah, but
so
still,
it's better. It's not
it's better,
and also really like it's my personal Pattinson's, if you will, like Robert Pattinson, because I saw this and I was blown away, and then I saw Good Time, and I was blown away by his performance in Good Time. I was like, oh, he's like actually like amazing. Liked him in this movie a lot. Always loved William Dafoe, so that's nothing new. They shot it on Panavision Panaflex Millennium XL2 cameras.
Gotcha.
And like with lenses from like the 1850s and 60s. They shot it on Eastman Double X522 black and white 35mm film. The format is quite shocking. That square format. I forget the exact ratio. And the cameras and lenses, those all from like the 1850s, 60s, 70s.
It was a 1.19 by 1 aspect ratio, according to Wikipedia.
So I don't even know what that fucking means anymore, dude.
1 by 1's a square, obviously. Mm-hmm. So really, it's just like how much more one of those dimensions is more in correlation to the other one. So I don't know why 1.19 has any significance, but that's all it means, is like it's just about a square. Yeah.
Okay. About that format, though, Robert Eggers stated something. Robert Eggers knew from the start that the film had to be in black and white, even if it meant that it would scare off potential financiers. Even before he began writing the script, he wrote on the front page, "This film must be photographed on black and white, 35mm negative, aspect ratio 1:19:1, audio mix mono." In the end, he lost around $6 million in investment from that decision, more than half the film's eventual budget.
That's pretty wild.
Good for him for his second film to be like, this is how it has to be, and I don't care if I lose money on it.
Does that go to say that The Witch was commercially successful enough to make that gamble? Or...
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I do think it was. Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. I need to pull up the IMDb because I have the wiki open and.
Wiki, that's funny because they're called wikis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Opening weekend, it grossed a little under 500,000.
Are you talking about for The Witch?
Sorry, for The Lighthouse. The budget was 11 million. Gross worldwide was 18 million. So
for The Lighthouse?
Yeah, for The Lighthouse. So it was somewhat successful, but
yeah,
definitely a risk.
But say it. Oh, for sure it was a risk. But hey, it was a risk that made some money. For a film this not accessible, if you will, to wide audiences. For example, Kevin Smith's highest grossing movie. What do you think it is?
Ooh, that's a good question. Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
No. It's Cop Out. His
Really?
by far worst movie he's made. But
Yeah.
because it's a dumb, thin plot line, because it has Bruce Willis and
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan, made him the most money out of any of his other films. Nowhere near as good as Dogma, Clerks, Zack and Miri Make a Porno, sure. Red State, really liked Red State. But because it's an easily accessible film, made a shit ton of money. So the fact that this movie, The Lighthouse, which is nowhere near as easily to watch as is Ari Aster's second film, Midsommar, this movie still made its budget back and some. Because I think people can appreciate what he's telling with his films, like how he wants to transport you to that time. It's kind of like his other movie, The Witch. Shit starts happening, you don't know what's real, you don't know what's not real, you don't know this or that, but it's so grounded because of where they're at and what they're doing and their dialogue with one another, you know?
It definitely feels like you are along for the ride, navigating the nuances of English from that period, and just seeing them, how they're implemented, and how certain words are just interpreted differently in a casual conversation. And it was just so weird enough that I'd believe it, as far as the authenticity of it.
So before we get into the nitty gritty, what'd you think of the film?
I could have used more. This is gonna sound really bad. This could have used a little more mermaid porn.
That is not what I expected you to say. And yeah, that does sound pretty bad. That's your take?
I say mermaid porn in the sense of something really weird and zany. Like, obviously, the whole scenario is weird and zany. I thought you meant
when they actually literally showed the mermaid's pussy, because I was like, that's what you want to see more? Like...
But you have to admit, like when you saw the trailer, there was quirkiness. This was another diegetic trailer, I think it was. If I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember the trailer, but
I just remember once Robert Pattinson was slapped in the face for talking about harming seagulls, I was like, holy shit! I remember this was the shot in the trailer that made me say I really want to see this movie. And it acoustically built up to it based on I think sounds of the chores he was doing in the trailer, but the
foghorn,
the
chores,
foghorn, brushing things, hitting stuff, whatever. Very percussive. That is all there in this film. And when it gets into a certain mood and vibe, such as murdering a seagull, I was like, holy shit. That's the albatross. You know what I mean? Like things are going to get terrible. I just felt like with all the madness, I think eventually you could interpret it as gaslighting. I like to interpret it as gaslighting that William Dafoe character gives Robert Patterson's character, especially near the back end.
Robert Pattinson.
That's what I said.
You said Patterson.
Pattinson.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful storm, and the pacing of the film was really rewarding, especially since it was one more day and then you'll be off your shift. And I was like, does it feel like the end of the movie? So its pacing is so intricately designed to throw you off, almost as if you're on a ship that's on a rocking in the ocean, you don't have firm legs into what is the rational in conventional storytelling.
Well, because it builds to their insanity. It's they start off with their chores, and it's slowly building and slowly kind of just scratching away at their, at least at Robert Pattinson's mental stability.
Absolutely.
Slowly and surely. And then eventually when it all kind of comes to a head, it's deserved in a way.
Yes, it's deserved, but I just wanted just a little. And he sees the tentacle.
He sees the tentacle.
Yeah. But I wanted just a little more.
Okay, so real quick about that mermaid. Apparently Anya Taylor-Joy campaigned heavily for the role, but Robert Eggers said no. I think because she would be too big of a name and it would kind of throw audience members off. Because I think seeing an unknown actor playing this mermaid, it makes it more believable.
There's a way to bring an actor in as a supporting role in that capacity. I mean, Interstellar was keeping Matt Damon pretty low profile.
But sometimes you look at an actor in a role and you're like, I just see that actor. And seeing a mermaid, you're like, I'm just seing Anya Taylor-Joy, I feel like.
That's my point.
But when you look at Willem Dafoe, I don't see Willem Dafoe. I see fucking Thomas Wick from The Lighthouse. In that movie.
Yeah, but you have to. But he has the time to give you that performance.
He does,
Anya Taylor-Joy, the mermaid footage was just her reacting to being fucked and trying to seduce Robert Pattinson.
I don't know if it's called seducing him. It was screaming in his face.
I thought that was her doing some sort of seduction call. Yeah, exactly, her siren.
Yeah.
So beyond that, I was very satisfied with the cast, and the film just has a wonderful tone.
Yeah, the dense cast. Of 2 people.
It's so dense for it only being 4 people.
No, I know, yeah. Well, it's really only 2. Well, there's 3 maybe.
No, there's the guy he murders.
Yeah, but dialogue, there's only, if you consider screeching dialogue, there's 3 people.
I think when the film's this small, you may as well just include the 2 extra. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, then there's actually 2 more because there's the 2 guys they trade shifts with in the beginning of the movie.
Do we ever see them on camera?
You see them like in a wide shot, but that's it.
Okay, so 6.
Actually, man, I consider that the one-eyed seagull a character, so that's another one.
A spiritual metaphor of the previous sailor that died there, supposedly.
Oh, it's the souls of sailors. Yeah, that's or whatever, or the guy's head that he finds in the lobster trap, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's probably it. But that's the thing too, like.
Oh
the
yeah, actually that makes
gaslighting.
total sense because the seagull has one eye. The guy in the lobster trap had one eye.
Oh shit!
I didn't even think of that until just now. I've seen the movie like 6 times.
Look at that. This podcast
Yeah.
is really it's doing good for us.
Wow. But that scene where he first meets the one-eyed seagull and throws a rock at it, I just read that crows apparently, it's a different bird obviously, but crows are capable of holding grudges against humans for up to 17 years. which is which is the best headline of anything I've ever read in my time.
That is.
Yeah.
That sounds like a PSA, if anything. Like, don't fuck with crows.
Don't piss off crows because they will hold a grudge for 17 years. Like, I love that such a specific number. Like, a scientist was like, yep, 17 years. It's like, you don't want to round it off to 20 or 15? Nope, 17. That's what it is.
They have controlled studies around the world of isolated instances of someone constantly fucking with a crow every single day. And then different scientists clock out and stop doing it and see how many years it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I fucked with this crow in October 2000. October 2017, he was like, oh, I'm done. I'm over it.
Yeah, you know, like
Wash my
there's the
hands of
science,
it.
folks.
Yeah, the crow washed his crow wings. I don't know what the fuck.
Well, we're never going to cure climate change, so we may as well just have fun while we still got time, you know? Like, what else can science give us?
Yeah. So in the end of the movie, he says to Willem Dafoe's character, Robert Pattinson, he's like, I saw your old, when he's like in his mental health fallout, he's like, I saw your old assistant, like his head in the one-eyed guy's head in the box.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the one-eyed seagull, like I said, was maybe the old assistant, and why he had a problem with it. Maybe he's like, you're taking my job. It's my turn to see the lighthouse. Maybe it's all about getting to the lighthouse.
I guess at the heart of it, I'm like, what is this really about? Like, what is the lighthouse? And maybe it's open to interpretation intentionally.
I think even in the script it is. So apparently even in the script it doesn't say what it is, but it says in the script it tells the characters the feeling that it evokes in them.
And maybe, you know what, I'll acknowledge whenever I'm left wanting more, whether or not that's right or wrong, if a story's intentionally doing that, then it did something right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I got.
But so you only really like the like a mysticism of this movie? Like you
no, I just
some of the
wanted
dialogue is
more,
like some of the coolest,
you know what I mean?
The best dialogue I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah, great dialogue, but I think by the time their feud inevitably reaches its climactic conclusion, like at that point I was tired of it. In the same way Pattinson's Thomas was tired with Defoe's Thomas when he saw the journal near the end, and just was like seeing everything.
He was tired with it before that. With the cooking scene, or not the cooking scene, but the when he curses him.
Exactly. Yeah. No, there's a lot of those great confrontations, but then there's like this toxicity of them like dancing away their woes because all they have to do is drink and survive.
Just get hammered in there,
you know.
And then they run out of alcohol, so they start drinking the ethanol out of the oil from
oh my
the lighthouse. Yeah,
I was getting fucking Master vibes.
I was thinking that the torpedo juice. What do they call that?
Yeah, the oil
juice?
fluid in that. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it the ethanol they drink out of the
probably
the gas? Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like by the time I got to that point in the story with the journal, I was ready for it to end. And I didn't get enough of the mysticism behind the lighthouse for me to just feel like I was 100% satisfied. But again, like maybe that's how I'm meant to be left feeling. You know, if movies aren't always supposed to check all
But
those
if you're
boxes.
comparing this to other recent films, it's so different, and this director has such a unique style that I think like the fact that he's getting to make movies like this that are playing in theaters says something. Gets something completely new, completely different. And again, talking about what inspires us, whatever, that's what inspires me. Same as The Witch. That this guy is, you know, he turned down $6 million of investing because he's like, no, I'm making it the way that I want to make it. To not compromise your vision as a filmmaker is pretty fucking badass, and it shows that even a guy making a second movie can still do it. So it's like, you know,
if you've got more good ones in you, you should be able to find the means to make it. And that I think the lighthouse is the byproduct of that mentality, really. You know, I'm glad I finally saw it. I think this year This podcast has really helped me finally see movies that I've just wanted to see but never made time for.
Yeah, like Unfrosted.
Oh man, I just shard a little bit on that one. Oh, dude.
Yeah, that movie was a fucking shart. So, like, maybe, see, this is where we're different, right? Because you don't like The Lighthouse, but you liked Unfrosted.
No. Hold on. You're saying I don't like The Lighthouse? That's not what I said at all.
Okay, that's what the vibe I'm getting.
Because I wanted more?
Okay, so you just saw Wicked last night?
I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that you've mentioned it, yeah.
First of all, how was it? If you don't tell me anything other than you hated it, I'm fucking leaving the podcast for good.
Ironically enough, it was too much.
Not surprising.
It's a very long movie. You know what's really manipulative? It's a two-parter. And
oh my God.
I heard about that in the early marketing stages of this film, and I was immediately put off by it. I'm like, let's just let this come and go. And for context, I saw the musical in theaters and Broadway like a decade ago with my family. I had a good time. I like the story and the premise. But musicals aren't for everybody, and revisionist history is not for everybody. But I think it's very...
Well, this is not really revisionist history. It's just...
Well, no. It's satire.
In a fairy tale sense, not like...
Well, I guess what I'm saying is there is a lore spread out across several books. I don't know anything about it aside from the movie The Wizard of Oz, which was a relic of the time. You know, we could agree on that. I say revisionist history in the sense that like it brings a different perspective to the conversation of these characters and putting them in a new light, considering that it's not so much adapting
I knew what you meant.
With that said, you know, I had a good time. I liked it, but it did feel very long. And knowing that right when the movie started, eventually it was like Departed in the sense that 20 minutes in, you got the title sequence.
Dude.
And I don't like that in films.
But The Departed does it so well.
I don't care. Give me the title of it in the first 10 minutes.
So then
tops.
you not like Mandy? The title for Mandy, I think, is even longer than 20 minutes.
I probably fell asleep by then, and then I was coming in and out of it because it was just. I don't know.
My God!
We're getting off topic.
You know what? Can I say something? This might sound horrible. I think you might be getting LA movie brain rot.
What are you talking about?
I think you're seeing a lot of these shit movies like Wicked and Unfrosted, and like you should be appreciating movies like Mandy more. I get it. Movies right now are training us to be bored by slower paced things because it's kind of like how social media has changed everything, where like it has to be constant. But like our old movie selves, we could sit through a movie that was a slow burn, that had kind of hard dialogue to understand, that built up to something that took a long time. But now it's like da 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 da. And I think you might be seeing too many of these new movies and letting yourself like them. Here's the fact: I don't allow. This is gonna sound horrible on my end. I don't allow myself to enjoy certain movies because I'm like, I shouldn't like this, and I think I've calloused my brain to where I'm like, I don't like this because of that rule. And maybe that's why when I saw Fall Guy or Free Guy, and I'm like, this is like the worst shit I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's why I think movies and I think people are falling victim to that because I've heard people say the new Matrix movie was good.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Okay, thank God, because that's one of the worst fucking turds I've ever seen.
I'm on the fence with Matrix 2 and 3 because it really is the source of like my agony, which is the super sequel, which is the point I was going to get with Wicked, bringing it full circle, is that when you see the title card Wicked, unlike in all the trailers, it says Wicked. And then a couple seconds later, it says in the corner, Part 1. Just how fucking Dune was like, Dune.
I know. Dune did it to us too.
Part 1.
But Dune 2 is so good that it makes up for anything.
But hold on. Am I expecting Part 2 like a Wes Anderson movie would, where it gives you chapters? Like, that's distracting.
We should make a movie where it's just, after the title, Part 6. And you're like, what the fuck? Wait, what?
Part 6, and it's the end credits. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah. But you make a sequel, but there's no movie before it.
We're so all over the place. I'm not going to take offense to your comment.
I don't think you have LA movie brain rot, but just be careful that that's happening, I think, to people.
Let's also set the record straight. I'm pretty sure I said during the recording of the episode or prior to it that I regretted making Unfrosted the episode because I was under the influence at the time when I saw it. I was like, the thing I did like about it, which was just diverse casting and day players, like that part I do genuinely like.
Sure. But
and that's what I advocated for.
Okay, so overall, did you say that, or did you enjoy watching The Lighthouse?
Yes, I did. Overall, I enjoyed it. I'll say, as someone who saw it for the first time recently, the next time I would want to see it again, I would say in a couple years, and I'd say that's actually pretty good for an independent film. To like get me to come back and see it again, like with genuine interest out of no obligations. And for me to come back to any movie these days before the year 2015 is like that's grandfathered in. Like, I'll come back and see the Lord of the Rings trilogy one more time before I die, but no, I've already seen it dozens of times.
I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, like, I grew up with my staples. I love my staples. And, like,
Sure.
I will branch out and see new things, but, like, there's just too many good things. Same with games, same with music and books and podcasts.
Fair enough. I love that film, The Lighthouse. I think it's such a different film than what I'd ever seen before.
If you could give it some sort of metric or official standings in your eyes, like a out of 10 or whatever, like...
Yeah, I'll give that like a 9. Maybe 8.7.
8.7?
I don't know. But you know what's crazy? That we're talking about the Oscars before and Golden Globes. This movie was nominated for Best Cinematography, and that was it. The score, the sound design, fucking the acting between Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, like,
yeah,
amazing. You know the monologue where he curses Winslow?
Yeah, that was a great monologue.
He didn't blink the entire time.
And that shot went on for a couple minutes, I think.
And it was it only did that apparently one time. And it does go out of focus for a minute, but they just kept it in because it was so fucking good.
The amount of work he must have put through to just memorize it and sew it into his DNA. As some person who's not an actor and is just doing what he can to get by, like, I really appreciated it now more than ever, seeing how he pulled it off. And Pattinson also gives a couple really good speeches too.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. And it makes you think of like stage actors, like, you got to respect that.
Absolutely. When we talk about what is a film and a movie, I think a film is something that comes out of pure, like, genuine curiosity or just the heart. I think that Lighthouse is definitely a byproduct of the heart, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The heart and the dick. I mean, there's a lot of... Well, it's a lot of testosterone that drives the guy crazy, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, they're pent up. So I think even Robert Eggers said, nothing ever good happens when two men are trapped on a phallic-shaped island for too long.
Oh, wow. That really hits the whole film on the nose.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And at one point they almost kiss and they're dancing, and you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole weird sexual tension that runs through this whole movie.
It's wild. It's a great film.
Yeah, there you go. That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah, man. Lighthouse. Thanks for sharing it with me.
Yeah.
Truly.
But just two scenes I wanted to talk about. So,
yeah.
Well, just him saying if I had a steak, I'd fuck it. That's like one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's burying Willem Dafoe and he's just doing the monologue and he's throwing dirt in his fucking mouth and his eyeballs and he's just continuing to do the monologue. It's amazing.
So fucking
no
good.
Oscar nod for that. I mean, come on.
No Oscar nod for being buried alive. And that's what I mean, man. Like, you got to just take the Oscars at face value because it really...
I know.
What else is there?
Yeah,
just
fucking
the rest
Adam
of the
Sandler
world.
didn't get anything for Uncut Gems either. But that movie got snubbed as well.
It
came out
really
the same
did.
year as this, I think, 2019. Yeah, it did. Yeah, so A24 got snubbed. Uncut Gems and The Lighthouse.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I remember coming out of Uncut Gems and hearing that a particular general was assassinated under the Trump administration. And I thought, like, it was, like, at the time going through the Twitter rounds being like, this is what's going to start World War III. You know, like a lot of fucking hot shit news.
Sure, yeah.
But, like, that was a hell of a thing to hear right after that heart attack of a conclusion.
Yeah, that movie's awesome. I love Uncut
It's
Gems.
so uncomfortably tense. Like, it altered my biology to feel really, really stressed out.
What's happening?
Do you want some apples?
Yeah, I would love some apples.
Hi, Alex.
That says hi.
Hi, apple snack.
Apple snack attack.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Yeah, this is a good time to eat, right? We're still recording? Yeah.
I don't know how it's possible. You hear things in this town living here in Sunnydale, but nobody actually believes them. You know, you'd have to be crazy. And you guys think that I'm crazy, don't you?
We've seen things too, Nancy.
This is our last episode of the year in recording order.
Oh, shit.
What a ride it's been.
For sure. I mean, we just finished our 6th Breakneck. This is the 11th episode.
How do you feel?
I feel hollow. No.
I'm kind of right there with you.
No, I feel great. I feel good about it.
All right. Thank you all for listening and watching. And we'll catch you on episode 12, which is, spoiler, going to be a holiday-themed episode.
Yay, holidays.
Well, I'm going to wrap things up. Take care, y'all.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
Well,
And they'll see me later, too. Because if they... Yeah. Perfect.
You're really good at this.
I know.
It is not over. It's far from over. We do have a game segment. In fact, it's a pretty unique one at that. Zach and I, just the day before the 2024 Game Awards, made predictions on categories that we remotely had a dog in the fight. And by that I mean we played none of these games, but we have watched at least one of these shows in the adaptation category. And so I scrolled through the winners of the award show, and I've accumulated the results, and we're going to one by one see how it panned out. Any thoughts before we dive in?
Yeah, man, you can really turn it on when you need to, huh?
All right, well, that's the acting, baby. Most anticipated, we both picked. I'm going to give it to the Grand Theft Auto 6.
Of course, obviously.
Surprise, surprise. The winner is GTA 6. It's a tie. All right. Best adaptation.
Fallout for me.
I'm going to go Arcane. The result is Zach wins because it was Fallout. All right, that was just a bad copy-paste job there.
It's all good. I like that. I won. Best multiplayer, Helldivers 2.
I'm going to go with it. Helldivers 2 won.
Yeah.
Best RPG, I'm going to give it to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, I'm going to go Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as well.
Metaphor.
I don't even know what the fuck metaphor... Like, a metaphor? Like, is that what it is?
Have you heard of Persona?
Yeah, I think so.
It's same people who made that. Best action adventure, you said Astrobot. I'm going to go Star Wars Outlaws.
It's got to be Astrobot. Come on.
Astrobot!
Yeah.
Best action game.
Helldivers 2.
I'm going to go Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong.
Damn. Really interesting.
Best debut indie game.
The only game that I know of is Pacific Drive, so that one.
I'm going to give it to Animal Well, actually. Winner was Balatro. Best performance.
I'm going to go Life is Strange Lady. Why not?
Best performance, Melina from Hellblade 2. That was my bet. I won that one. Best audio design, I'm going to give it to Hellblade.
No, let's go Silent Hill 2. It's going to be Hellblade, I'm sure. Yeah.
Best score and music, I'm going to give it to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Sure, I'll do the same.
And it's a tie. Best art direction.
I'm going to go Elden Ring.
I'm going to go with Black Myth. Metaphor.
It'd help if I knew these games.
Best narrative.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Final Fantasy VII. And would you know?
Metaphor. Jesus Christ.
Best game direction. You know what? I'm going to give it to Balatro. Balatro's been fighting the good fight here.
Okay, I'm going to go Astrobot.
And the winner is Astrobot. Game of the year, though, oof.
I'm going to go Astrobot.
I'm going to go Astrobot 2 on this one, actually, so it's a tie.
Nothing is gained, nothing is lost. Great. What an entertaining outcome to this scenario.
Thank you all for sticking around, and we're very excited for what we have to bring in the year 2025, which will be, I guess, do we call them season 2 now, or do we just keep going?
Season 2 of Breakneck, or season 2 of We've Seen Things?
We've Seen Things.
I think we just keep going. We only got like 12 episodes. So it's... Oh, I guess that 12 episodes is a season of a show, right? Well, it's not a show. It's just... Keep it going.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And then I had one quick thing. I actually had this really cool photo I want to share with you.
Did you go to the screening? Are you fucking kidding me?
Guess what movie number 13 is going to be?
Nosferatu?
Yeah, brother.
You son of a bitch! I told you don't deserve that!
And yet, I'll say this much. Best film.
Shut the fuck up! Don't tell me! Oh my god!